So coming to my last funnel, this is the automated review request. As one of my colleagues put it very succinctly, online businesses live and die based on the reviews they get. So what we're going to do is encourage users to leave a review and reward them for doing so. I'm also going to show you a bonus of how you can tag a user as an advocate based on the score they give you when they give you feedback. That those customers, that particular group of customers, are highly engaged and the best people to market to, and also to get feedback for and maybe pilot beta programs with. So this takes about 15 to 30 minutes to implement. 10% of people on average will leave a review. So it's very low hanging fruit. And I always ask people to be negative, and I'll show you what that means in just a moment when I go into my Typeform. And it's also an overlooked opportunity to sell. If someone's completed, say, the corporate finances course, they might be interested in your accounting course, etc. Or they've done your first course, they might be interested in the next cohort. So be sure to say that when they've left the review. So let's get started. What we'll do is come into Zapier once more. You're probably noticing a trend here. Once again, we'll just discard that draft and we'll go from the start. Thinkific has a wonderful action within Zapier, which a lot of course creators don't know about, and that is when the course is completed. So let's pull up Thinkific here. That event is going to be when the course is completed. Again, you can use this for a particular course or for all your courses. In this example, I'm going to just choose all my courses because it's going to be sort of a generically leave a review. A question I often get asked with reviews is it a good idea to get reviews on my Thinkific site, or should I use something like Capterra? It's kind of up to you. If you're a physical business, I recommend pushing users towards your Google business listing. That's great for SEO. If you do have a presence on, say, Yelp or Capterra, I would push people there. There's no harm in getting it on your Thinkific school, and Thinkific has a great review section for it. However, reviews on these third-party platforms do tend to show a lot more weight for end users. So the course is now completed. And once again, we're going to do a quick tag within MailChimp itself. And this particular tag is going to be for a review request, and that's going to kick off a review flow for us. So once again, we'll choose a tag here. Review requested. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Fantastic. So just to reiterate what's happening here, when the course is completed in Thinkific, we're going to add a tag in MailChimp, and that tag is going to be review requested. Coming back into MailChimp itself, we're just going to build a very quick customer journey for this. Let's go ahead and create the journey. I'm going to call it review. Once again, your starting point is always going to be when a tag is applied. That particular tag is going to be review requested. Now, if you remember in Zapier, this is going to trigger as soon as the user has finished the course. You probably don't want to send them an email straight away. That could look a little bit too eager. So you can tend to wait. I wait anywhere between 1 and 3 days. Oh, I just made a mistake. I added an email. That's not what we want to do. We actually want to add in a delay. I tend to wait about 1 to 3 days. 24 hours is in around the time to wait. Awesome. And this first email you're going to send is going to be basically encouraging to the review. This depends on the platform you're using. As I said, if you're a physical business, Google My Business Reviews are a great place to leave them, as Yelp, Capterra, or just encourage them to go into Thinkific and leave a review, or just send you an email. Okay, then we're also going to have a decision point. And that particular decision point is going to be based on the tag as if they actually left a review. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. If they have left a review, nothing's going to happen. If they haven't, we'll just send them one more follow-up. So you're probably asking, how do we get if they've left a review? In my particular instance, I actually like collecting reviews through Typeform. And what I've done is I've actually built a very quick example of a review Typeform here. Typeforms can be self-hosted, so you can just send them directly to a URL and this will load up. And what I tend to do here is, coming back to what I said when I first opened this funnel, always ask the negative question first. What did you least enjoy about the course? What would you change? If you ask the positive question, what did you enjoy? People tend to not give great answers. But if you ask people to think a little bit and say, well, what didn't you enjoy? That is where the feedback is, and that's where the gold is. You might find something out that, like I did after 2 years, that there was a particular video in the middle of it. It just didn't work. It kind of jarred. It threw a lot of people off. But when one person told me I fixed it, and I saw the engagement of the video go through the roof. So really important, ask the native question first. Then we're going to ask them how likely they are to introduce the course to their friends. This is an NPS score. And then lastly, we're going to get their email, and we're going to send them a quick reward. However, I'm just looking at the time. Gabby, do I have time to continue on this funnel, or will we send this out separately?
No. All right. Okay, Colin, maybe just run through the last little bits of your automation there.
Sure thing. Can everyone see my screen? It should be showing you MailChimp right now.
It's on Typeform, I think, but yeah, we can see it.
Typeform, my mistake. So just to reiterate what we were doing here, we're now building a Typeform where the user is going to leave the reviews. This is where we're actually capturing the review itself. We're going to ask them what they didn't like. We're going to ask them to give a rating, and then we're going to ask them for their email so we can send them a reward if we wanted to. So coming over to Zapier, we're going to create a new Zap, and that Zap is going to be when the Typeform is actually filled out. So we'll create Zap. It's going to be Typeform. The event's going to be new entry. And we'll choose my account. So once again, we'll choose a form, and it's going to be the course review form. I always recommend hitting test trigger when you're doing your Zaps, because what this does is it'll pull information from the system and allow you to use it in later steps. And if there's no information, it'll create sort of dummy data. Just makes it a lot easier to fill things out. So on the MailChimp side, what we're going to do is we're going to first remove a tag. So I'll just demonstrate actually how to do that, because that might be helpful to some people. So we'll remove a subscriber from a tag, and we're going to remove the review requested tag. Let's go ahead and do that. Once again, we'll choose our audience, and the tag to be removed is going to be review requested. And we're going to use their email address. So again, we can choose this. It's going to be this one here. Fantastic. We're going to add another step. We're going to then add a tag on. So this tag is going to be that they actually left a review, just so we're very sure. You can also use the fact that someone doesn't have a tag to describe that they've left a review. Again, entirely to your own preference. I like to use tags, so it's very, very clear. And once again, we'll choose the account. You'll notice with Zapier, unfortunately, a lot of it is a little bit of a repetition, but once you get the hang of it, it's a really, really powerful tool. The tag going to apply is that they are a reviewer, so therefore they left a review. Again, that's a very nice thing to know from a segmentation point of view. If you ever wanted to say send an email to anyone who's left a review, because again, these are highly engaged course takers or students. So the data is going to be from Typeform, and we're going to use their email. Now, traditionally, this is where you would end this particular Zap. So just to reiterate, they've filled out the review. We've removed the tag saying we're asking them for a review, and we've tagged them as a reviewer. One very powerful feature of Zapier is the ability to have an if-else itself. So for example, we can do a filter. And what this is going to do is, if a user has left us a particular score on the NPS, so when I say NPS, I'm referring to this from 0 to 10. If a user has given us a 7 or above, we're going to tag them as an advocate, so someone who's highly engaged. Again, very handy information to know if you're sending out a mailing list, or you want a demo or say beta tester course. You can work with the students who are the most engaged in content. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Typeform entry here. We're going to look at the form responses, and then we'll say how likely you are. And we're going to use greater than. So if the number here is greater than 70, for example, so that'll be a score of 70 on the Typeform, we're going to continue. If not, what actually happens here is Zapier will finish. So it's telling here from the sample data, this user gave us a score of 42, so it would not have gone any further. But if it does continue, what we're going to do is we're going to add a step with MailChimp, and that is going to be to apply a tag. So once again, we'll just scroll down here, add subscriber to tag, and this is where we're going to tag them as an advocate. This is not a mandatory step to do. I just like doing it myself because it allows you to identify users who are highly engaged in my content and left positive reviews. You can also do the opposite. So for example, if someone left you a very low score, a nice thing to do is to send them an email from to a Calendly link to jump on a call and sort of chat what went wrong and maybe use an opportunity to make things right. So you can see here, I'm finishing up just by tagging as an advocate. And then we are good to go. So that's the full Zap setup within MailChimp itself. We're coming back to our review funnel here. So just to recap it, when we ask them to send a review, we'll wait a day. We'll then send them an email, ask them to go to the Typeform to leave the Typeform review. And we then check if they are a reviewer. So if they've left a review, Typeform and Zapier will apply the tag reviewer. If they haven't, we're going to send them an email just to follow up and say, hey, would you mind leaving this review? I recommend with reviews, unlike other funnels, don't keep sending emails. If someone has left you a review after 1 or 2 emails, I generally wouldn't continue on from there. If you wanted to say use the advocate tag, you could build another customer journey where if someone's tagged as an advocate, you could maybe send them a higher discount. So for example, I'd send them an email saying, thank you for your wonderful review. Here's 50% off your next course. Likewise here, if someone left your review, you could also just send an email and say, here's 10% off the next course. Here's early access to my next course, etc. So I think that should cover that particular funnel. If there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'll hand it over to Gabby.